Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Tanks with the mighty Jingles. And yes, the patch 9.13 test server is back up, and yes, the Czechoslovakian tanks are back. And I will be doing a Czechoslovakian tank video soon. I just don't quite have enough material yet in order to do it. Today, however, we're going to be taking a look at the Ensk map, and I'm not quite sure why Ensk seems to be so popular lately, but it just seems like every other replay I open up lately, it's a game on Ensk. Not that that's a bad thing, because I really like this map, but I just don't know why. It's a city map, and on city maps the fighting tends to take place, probably more so on Ensk than other famous city maps like Himmelsdorf. The fighting tends to take place at very short ranges. The kind of ranges where you really want to be in a tank that's got plenty of armour and a gun that does all of its damage up front. Not the M4 Sherman, which is what LOL's man boy is driving here. Now, okay, he does have the 105mm howitzer, and it does have an average damage potential of 410, which is a lot, especially at tier 5, but to do that kind of damage, it has to penetrate the armour, and it only has 53mm of penetration. So, a lot of time when you're firing this gun, you're hitting something, and yet you're doing the same or less damage, like that, although that was a very good shot, a very cheeky shot at the OI experimental there, but you're doing the same or less damage than if you were using armour piercing with a 76mm gun, and you get a fire more often. Now that, again, did the same damage that he would have done if he'd fired 76mm armour piercing, and he's not able to fire again fast enough to keep that guy tracked and finish him off. The days of being able to do full damage by just spamming derp guns into everything, regardless of how much armour they had, are long gone. That was another very good shot, by the way. Let's see if he can do it again. Can he reload in time? He can, but look at the damage that he's doing. This is what happens when you fire an explosive into a heavily armoured target. Still, he is at least keeping him tracked, and that damage does add up over time. At some point this guy's going to have enough, and he's going to use his repair kit. Or is he? Oh, well... Yeah, I think he finally used the repair kit. A little bit too late. He could have saved himself a lot. And look there, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is why I do not like using this howitzer on the Sherman. He just hit a Churchill in the side and didn't do any more damage than if he'd been firing 76mm armour piercing. 410 average damage. Yeah, not very often. I've lost track of the number of times I've been in this tank. You'd think I'd have learned my lesson by now, but no. When I've gone screaming around a city street corner, found myself at point blank range from an enemy tank, got the side or rear arm at a shootout, he's been on less than 300 health, I've gone, yes, guaranteed kill, pulled the trigger, and it's done anything between 47 and 100 damage. Oh, wow. A brave move from the KV-1S. There was no way he was ever going to survive that. He did force LOL's man boy to use his repair kit, however. He managed to jam his turret ring. Oh, that one missed. Okay. AMX-40 up there actually managed to set that guy on fire. So why do people prefer using the 105mm howitzer instead of the 76mm gun? Ah, Jingles, the howitzer has an average damage per minute of 2,700. The 76mm gun only has 1,296. Well, yes, but the 76mm gun is going to actually do that damage. In order for the howitzer to achieve that kind of damage per minute, it has to penetrate and do 410 damage with every shot it fires, and that just doesn't happen. Of course, there is the fact that if you're firing high explosive at somebody, you're almost always going to do some damage every time you hit them. And you're probably going to do module damage and injure crew members as well. If you're firing 76mm AP, if it doesn't penetrate, it does nothing. So there is that. This gun, however, only has 0.55 accuracy, which is what makes this all the more surprising. Watch this shot. I don't even know if that gap was 105mm wide. And then he does it again. Come on. Yeah, there it is. 0.55 accuracy. Seriously? What do you think you're doing? Driving a Russian tank? He has been doing some remarkably good shooting in this match. And some lucky shooting as well. I mean, shooting twice in a row between that gap was nothing short of spectacular. But he's going to have to start doing a lot better. If it wasn't for him, his team would probably have lost by now. Well, if it wasn't for him and the enemy artillery, who's managed to pick himself up a friendly fire kill along the way. I didn't even see that happening. Hooray! Hooray for the enemy bishop. But they're trailing by one tank, although they have just managed to pull another kill back up. So, it's 4 on 4, and they're all tier 5s. there's the enemy Chinook. Now he's still got a fair amount of health remaining. It's probably going to take Lol's man boy 3 shots to kill him, unless he manages to get a good shot into the side or rear. But you can't count on that happening. And the Chinook with its 75mm gun, that's the Japanese Tier 5 premium medium tank, can probably kill him in 2 shots. And he's going to fire those 2 shots a damn sight faster than Lol's man boy is going to fire anything from this howitzer. So he can't really afford to give this guy any opportunity to take any shots at him, because he doesn't just have to fight the Chinook. There's still another 3 tanks on the enemy team, even assuming he kills him. And now the Chinook has him spotted. He's close to within 50 meters, so they both pop up on each other's maps, and he's got no support here. If he's going to kill this guy, he's going to have to do it alone. He might be able to penetrate that Chinook from the front, but it's not something you want to bet on. The Chinook has got 50mm of frontal armour. This gun has 53mm of penetration with high explosive. It's only got 25mm of side armour, however, so if the Chinook is dumb enough to give him the side of the tank, he can obliterate him with 1 shot. And that's what he really needs to do. But you can't count on him being that dumb. He's played it reasonably well so far. And then he gives him the side of the tank. Oh crap, the bathtub of doom. That's why the Chinook came out, and the bathtub doesn't appear to be able to shoot. Which is nice. Very, very nice. It would be even nicer if that Stug on his team would come out here and support him. It's always better to stick together when you're getting down to the vinegar strokes like this. It's 2 against 3 now. The Stug seems to be hanging back there trying to cover the cap circle in case anybody tries to cap. So, you know, if he's not going to come to you, it might be a good idea to go back to him and both of you cover the cap circle. It maximises your firepower. And oh, there's the bathtub. Oh dear. Oh, that was a shame. Oh, there's the enemy Stug. The little old bathtub might have actually stood a chance if he just kept going. There's a nice little side street there he could have driven straight into, because accuracy while turning the turret isn't nearly as good as accuracy while sitting stationary, aiming at point-blank range with a howitzer at the side of a very thinly armoured tank destroyer that's decided to stop in the middle of a road less than 100 metres away from you. But he didn't, so the scores are now even. What's this Stug going to do? He's checking behind him, because this Stug looks like he's waiting for something, doesn't he? He's not coming out. Stug's got up to 80mm of frontal armour, so he's not going to be able to derp him right in the face and get away with it. Oh, that's what he was waiting for. Oh, it's the bishop. He fires and he misses. The bishop hits him, but it only appears to do about 70 damage with a high explosive. The Stug comes forward, but he hesitates, and he gives him a chance to pull back into cover. Meanwhile, the friendly Stug takes out the bishop, but the enemy Stug, that's why he hesitated on the corner. He had a clear shot at the friendly Stug. So now it's 1-on-1. And they both know exactly where the other is. And that's why Lol's man boy is pulling back. He's getting more than 50 meters away from this Stug, so the Stug doesn't know his exact location. Is that Stug going to come out and give him a shot at the side? It doesn't look like he is, so Lol's man boy decides he's going to try to sneak around the rear of him and get a killing blow. But that Stug is not stupid. Yeah, there he goes. He's getting himself backed up into a corner where the Sherman can't outmaneuver him. Or at least that's what he appears to be doing. Can he get a shot over here? No, he's on the other side of the building. You sneaky German bastard. Very well done. So, sudden death. How's this one going to end? Remember, he has to shoot the Stug in the side or the rear. With up to 80mm of... Oh, he's going for it. He's going for it. He's going to try to get around. He's not going to get around. How close was that? Well, I suppose that's why you get 3 marks of mastery on the barrel of your M4 Sherman's 105mm howitzer, without firing a single shot of premium high-explosive anti-tank ammunition. Well, from one machine that you wouldn't really expect to do well on a map like Ensk to another machine that, well, if we're honest, you would expect to do well on a map like Ensk. This is Polestar Blue, and he is in the British Tier 6 tank destroyer. And I always get the name of this thing wrong. This is the AT-8. Not the AT-6, because AT-6 and Tier 6 are not the same thing, Jingles. Okay, what's the Tier 8? If it's not the AT-8, oh, it's the AT-15. Oh, seriously, Britain? You're just trying to be clever now, aren't you? Why would you expect the AT-8? Oh, God, I almost called it the AT-6. No, Jingles, it's Tier 6. It's not the AT-6. Okay, why would you expect the AT-8 to be able to do well on a map like Ensk? Well, it does have 203mm of frontal armour. It doesn't have a very big gun though, and that frontal armour comes with a lot of weak spots. I swear they thought, you know what, we'll see who's got a sense of humour when they were designing these British tank destroyers. They give them all this frontal armour, they make them really, really slow, and they put a weak spot the size of the Leaning Tower of Pisa on the top. So that frontal armour... Lower glacis? Pah! Who needs to shoot at the lower glacis when you've got a commander's hatch the size of this thing sticking out of the top of the tank? It's impossible to hide it. Also, I was getting a little push from the SU-100. That's nice. Also, the machine gun port on the right-hand side is a big old weak spot as well. So that means this is the kind of machine... No, thank you for the push, SU-100, but we're fine here. Thanks very much. It's the kind of machine that you really... Well, you can see why he's going now to the left-hand side of the building. You want to cover up the right-hand side of the machine, and that's exactly what he's doing here. Oh, and there we go. Weak spot management. This is how you do well in British tank destroyers. Oh crap, that's a big tank. Actually, that's a lot of big tanks. But, providing they cannot hit your weak spots, you can manage them. Now, while the AT... I nearly said AT6 again. I swear I'm going to do it before the end of this video. Bingo, there you go. While the AT8 has the armour, it doesn't really have that big knockout gun. None of the British tank destroyers really do, until you get to the... It's funny though, isn't it, that the British tank destroyers all the way down the British tank destroyer line have got lots and lots of armour and medium tank guns. The AT8 here has a 17-pounder gun, which is a very, very good gun. He's being pressured seriously here. They're coming around from in front and on the right-hand side. Really doesn't know which way to turn. But until you get to the Death Star at tier 10, and arguably the Tortoise at tier 9 as well, at least once you get the 120mm gun unlocked on it, but they all tend to have medium tank guns on very, very slow, very heavily armoured machines. And that kind of works, because you've got the armour, providing you can manage your weak spots to just sit there and take the beating, while whittling away the health of the enemy tanks with this rapid firing. That KV-1's actually... He's got the 122mm howitzer, doesn't he? Yeah. That explains why... Oh crap, it's a Tog. Alright, he's blown his tracks off. Tog's definitely used a repair kit now. Unfortunately, this is where his KV-85 suddenly decides to commit suicide. Look at this. Full health. Why would you do that? Oh no, what is he doing? And now he's burning. That's how quickly you can die. And I'm not entirely sure why the ELC decided to come out. He didn't even have a shot with the narrow firing arc of the gun, and he just took damage for nothing there. But mid-tier games, what are you going to do? Now that SU-100's in serious trouble, and Polestar's trying to do what he can, but Tog comes out and finishes him. And this is where things start going very wrong very, very quickly, because not only does the Tog suddenly figure out how to shoot and starts putting shot after shot right into that commander's hatch, but he's also being outflanked, and this is the ultimate nightmare of the British tank destroyer driver, getting outflanked because you are so incredibly slow. However, it's kind of lucky here, because the two M8s, while they've got the speed to get around him, they don't really have the gun to penetrate his armour. But that is quite literally the only good news he has here. He's got enemy tanks behind him, he's got enemy tanks in front of him. Not entirely sure why one of the M8s that made it around behind him suddenly decided to try shooting him up from the front. But, hey, let's not argue. Observe friendly artillery committing suicide up there as well. The AMX-13 F3 decided that he's a tank destroyer now, and it's not gonna... No, there we go, he's dead as well. Guess who else is coming to the party, however? There's an ARL V39 who's about to get interested, and if he's got that 90mm gun, he can definitely... There he is. He can definitely penetrate the armour of the AT8. What do you do in this kind of situation? This is the ultimate nightmare for a British tank destroyer driver. Surrounded, multiple enemies. Sometimes you've just got to take a hit. Tog puts one into him, manages to get around the corner and just avoids a second shot. Goes for the V39, takes the hit as he knew he would, burns the repair kit, kills him. Right. One less enemy for him to worry about, and now there's nobody behind him. It's 4 against 6, but it could be worse. At least he's reasonably sure that most of the enemies that he's going to run across are going to be in front of him. Unfortunately, most of them are over on the other side of the map, ganging up on that friendly heavy tank. But where did the Tog go? He's not going to be able to run away too quickly. No, in fact, he's right there. One shot. And the Tog actually went for the commander's hatch and only damaged his vision port, didn't take any health damage. So that was kind of nice. So he's killed the Tog, which is nice, but he's lost 2 teammates doing it, which isn't so nice. The ELC is in that direction, but he's not trying to cap. What do you do when you're in this sort of situation? There goes the ELC. Well, at least I hope that tree falling was the ELC, because if it's another one of the enemy tanks, he could be in serious trouble. 1 tank he can probably handle, 2, you're just going to get outflanked, and you're going to be in a lot of trouble. He's going back to hold the cap circle, which is the smart thing to do when you're in a machine as slow as this. You don't want to be trying to chase down ELC AMXs, and, well, he's over there now, and he's just managed to kill the M4 Sherman, so now he's all on his lonesome. But the original plan is still good. You've got a lot of frontal armour, you've got a rapid-firing 17-pounder gun with 171mm of penetration, 0.32 accuracy, and a lightning-fast aiming time. Get yourself somewhere where you cannot be outflanked and surrounded. And if you can get yourself somewhere where you can't be outflanked, surrounded, or capped, even better. So, defending the cap circle it is. It's just a shame he can't lodge himself in between those 2 buildings, because they're actually outside the map border. Damn you, Wargaming! Why you do this? So, oh, there's one of the M8s. Not too worried about the M8s. He's got marginal penetration. Oh, well, he's dead anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so it's now 2 against 1. Both the ELC and the Stug, if they aim for his weak spots, or they get around the side and rear, and there's the ELC, and he's just lost more health and managed to miss. I realise the ELC doesn't have a very good aiming time on that 90mm gun, but he missed by about 40 metres. And he was only about 60 metres away. But I'd feel a lot more confident if I knew where that Stug was. Now, I realise I'm probably crediting the enemy team with more intelligence than they actually possess, which is easy to do, but you'd think they'd be working together at this point. Just one of them pops out, distracts you, and when you turn around, the next one gets the killing shot. But they don't really appear to be doing that. Well, at least... well, actually, maybe they are. There's the Stug. Now, you'll notice how Polestar doesn't turn any more than he needs to. So he's still got his armour angled against that ELC as he kills the Stug. And the ELC, instead of using his speed, while Polestar was distracted by the Stug to get around and nail that killing blow, he took exactly the same shot from exactly the same position with almost exactly the same results. This time he did actually hit him, but it just didn't penetrate. Now, the ELC's managed to break contact, and at this point you've got to be asking yourself, what's he going to do? Has he deliberately broken contact? Has he fallen back, broken line of sight? Is he now retreating so he can work his way around the map and come at me from a different direction? At the same time, though, you've got to be asking yourself, well, if he has, what exactly can I do about it? I'm in an 88 after all. It's not like I can go chasing after him. And you can quite clearly see from the way he's driving the tank that these are exactly the thoughts that are going through Polestar's head. He's thinking, well, what if he's done this? Well, there's nothing I can do about that. Well, what if he's done that? Well, there's nothing I can do about that either. The team are saying to him, go and cap. He's like, no chance. Unfortunately, once again, we are crediting our enemies with more intelligence than they actually possess. He was there the whole time. So that was quite an easy kill, if not an easy win, by Polestar Blue in the 88. And I managed to get all the way through this video without calling it the 86 once. Tier 6 British tank destroyer. That's it for today, folks. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will be taking a look at the new Czechoslovakian tanks on the World of Tanks test server at some point in the very, very near future. Until then, take care, and I'll catch you next time.